Clintonville gets its name from Clinton Township, which was named for George Clinton, a very popular governor in New York. One of the first settlers was Thomas Bull.
In many ways, the story of Clintonville starts with the Bull family. Thomas Bull Jr. came from Vermont. He bought 687 acres from about Brevoort down to Weber Road, and from the river to what we now know as Indianola Avenue.
Thomas Bull arrived in this part of the world in 1812 with his wife and family. He carved himself a home out of the virgin forest and made farmland where trees had once been, grew Indian corn, and generally transformed the land.
Even this early in its history, the land was in transition. The frontier was becoming farmland. The pioneers had made settlement possible.
One year after Thomas Bull arrived in 1812, his daughter Chloe arrived with her husband Isaac Brevoort and moved into a house that Thomas Bull had built. Tragically, while trying to cross the swollen Olentangy River, Isaac Brevoort drowned and was lost.
Thomas Bull's three sons become instrumental in Clintonville's early growth. Nathan was a physician and an educator. Alonson was a director of the company that improved the road to Worthington.
In 1847, Alanson Bull, along with some of his relatives and other folks, decide to set up a few stores and shops in the vicinity of what is now North High Street and East North Broadway. The post office he establishes comes to be called Clintonville because it sits smack in the middle of Clinton Township.
That marks the starting point of Clintonville as a named entity.
Another son, Jason Bull, was a circuit-riding preacher in the burgeoning Methodist denomination and carved out a piece of his share of the family land for a church. The sons of Thomas Bull are not only building a community in the wilds of Ohio, they're exercising their strong abolitionist beliefs and creating a network for fugitive slaves.
The Underground Railroad in Ohio was like a spider web of routes and trails. Probably the major route is what is now Route 23, coming from Portsmouth, Ohio, up the Saddle River corridor, right into Columbus, and then going on to Lake Erie.
The Clinton Chapel was the first church in Clintonville, and Jason Bull became the preacher. But his work went beyond delivering a sermon for the faithful each Sunday.
He was a zealous abolitionist and served as a conductor on the Underground Railroad, along with his immediate family and some of his friends in the neighborhood.
The mother of these gentlemen does not realize that they are actively engaged in this work until Alonson leaves an abolish magazine on the coffee table.
And she was incensed. She said she would never live under the same roof as an abolitionist.
He ends up building a wing onto his house so that she can actually live separate from the rest of the family but still be supported by that.
The chapel that was very much connected with the Bull family was really the hiding place that we can point to. Fugitive slaves were brought to behind the chapel, possibly to stay near the woodpile in the woods, and if you know Walhalla, you know it's very wooded.
Are you ready to go?
And then if they needed to, they were brought into the chapel area in a room that was accessed only by the attic, so there was no apparent doorway. And then when they were safe, they were brought out and brought up High Street into Worthington or to Westerville.
The Underground Railroad was a highly illegal operation. Those who were involved with it really took their lives in their own hands.
We sometimes have the impression that many people worked on the Underground Railroad in Ohio because to an extent it's our enduring myth. The fact of the matter is most people didn't. It was a crime to basically help runaway slaves escape to freedom, and you could be fined heavily and in fact even imprisoned. Many people kept their activities on the Underground Railroad quite secret. A good example of that is Cynthia Bull, who once wrote a letter.
She would be given a basket as if she was going to collect eggs, but there were provisions in the basket. She would take that little basket and feed them many times while he was preaching.